Think Chinatown is an intergenerational nonprofit based right here in Manhattan's Chinatown. We work at the intersection of storytelling, art, and neighborhood engagement.
Of course.
No more basement.
No more basement. We have moved up. We have moved up already.
We went up a level.
Everybody want to see the other landmark site? Come with us.
So we use art so people are more inclined to engage with these stories.
So you scan the code. And then you can listen to the story. See, it's Mimi's voice in there. It's her story.
But also the storytellers themselves feel honored by the process.
So weird, listen to yourself.
And see value in sharing their stories. It creates importance. Somebody who was shy about sharing a story before, seeing another story illustrated, they think, oh wait, maybe my story is also important.
I've been to that movie theater many times.
I'm sure you have.
As a community built out of exclusion, a lot of documents were falsified or hidden, and people were afraid to talk about their histories. By doing our storytelling projects, we're filling in the gaps of American history. Even before we were Think Chinatown, we were just a group of concerned neighbors. We noticed the inequities of arts funding to our grassroots arts groups in Chinatown. There was a citywide project identifying arts needs across the city, and then that would inform how the city would disperse its arts funds. My neighbors were being left out of the conversation, so me and Olympia Moy, the other co-founder of Think Chinatown, organized a bilingual workshop. We wrote comprehensive reports and submitted it unrequested by the city.
I grew up in Chinatown, and I know it is very hard for us to come into the same room sometimes because we don't have enough space, because we don't have enough funding. It's challenging across generations, across the dialects, but it makes me feel so happy that we are trying.
Through that, we learned about our neighbors and other community organizations here in Chinatown. For example, that's how we were connected to the Eastern Fuzhou Opera Group. They had showed up and asked for help, applying for city funds, navigating the digital system. There are a lot of Cantonese opera groups here in Chinatown, but not very many Min opera groups. They've been around since 1981, forging a space for their craft and for camaraderie within the Fuzhou immigrant community. As the next generation of cultural organizers here in Chinatown, it is truly inspiring. We really like having collaborations between a grassroots arts group in Chinatown with an emerging API artist. The Eastern Fujianese Opera Group performed to a backdrop illustrated by Cerula Bao. We were able to have this beautiful intergenerational collaboration.
A lot of times you often think, oh, Manhattan Chinatown, this is probably a lot of the old generation, old Chinatowners living here. Actually, through Think Chinatown, I met a lot of young people.
My grandma used to have magnets like this in her room. What is
The power of community art workshops to me is that art isn't something that is only for a certain type of person to do. And when you have a community workshop, people can get together, and it's a more kind of free and open way for all of us to share our memories and our experiences and try something new.
My grandfather, worked in restaurants. And he was from San and was not Hakka.
My dad, he opened up a Chinese takeout, and he had squid with the pickled
The mustard green.
Oh,
yes.
Squid.
Especially in a place like Chinatown, galleries have been displacing immigrant businesses where they come for the relatively cheap rent and create areas that for our neighbors, they don't feel like they can step in. You have to think about what art would draw in a Chinatown auntie versus scare her away because it's too different or too esoteric.
This is our new studio space for Think Chinatown. After years and years of dreaming, after big bar and ceiling spaces across Chinatown, we have a place to put our stuff. Most importantly, we have a place to put our art. Our amazing architects are here from Leroy Street Studio, and they're going to help us imagine the future of this space. Where you all are sitting is gonna be our Think Chinatown kitchen studio. We'll have space to invite aunties, maybe some uncles to come through and teach us culture courses based off of intergenerational knowledge transference over food.
Just stepping across the border into Chinatown, I felt this like emotional weight lifted and just like, I'm home, I'm with my, these are like family members that I don't know.
Storytelling is really about community building so that when there are big things that happen at our neighborhood, you have this community already where we can work together to address these issues.
I wonder what the mothers were dreaming the morning they woke before their last day at the spa. If I was a dragon, I won't want to be remembered for how I was slain, but rather the ways I soared and who I chose to fly with.
During the pandemic, we were really concerned about creating safe spaces for a community. People were really getting afraid to leave their own homes, even in their own neighborhoods, because of all the news of attacks on Asian Americans. We really wanted to claim space in our own neighborhood. We had been thinking, what if we could activate this space at Forsyth Plaza and bring in a wider community to celebrate with us our cultural heritage. We have a really cool group of volunteers.
I think Chinatown and AFI, they had this idea for the night market. Neighborhoods Now is this program started by Urban Design Forum and Van Alen Institute. They gathered all of us together to offer these pro bono services and really bring this night market to life.
In the future, our elders are protected. In the future, we are the future.
Our teammate Alice is able to talk to so many vendors, support them on their permitting, food handling, safety, connecting them to certain grants or resources out there to include them in Think Chinatown's programming.
All Chinatowns across the country are really experiencing a lot of anti-Asian hate. We've been surrounded by it. There's been so many incidents here in New York. Something like this night market is an actual opportunity for people to feel good about being in the community again, coming together to sort of show that they're not afraid.
A lot of this was very place-based, and a lot of it was reacting to the needs of the neighborhood. What could other public spaces look like, when they are serving the needs of their community? In Chinatown, it was the night market, but what is it elsewhere?
When it comes to city planning, a lot of time it's coming from top down, but through this kind of interventions and events and education, people will start to learn how to make their needs heard.
That's, temporary activations leading to permanent change.
Absolutely.
It's so important in these public spaces that our community feels included because they belong here.
you.